Amazing.
Good morning.
Good morning, Otto, Laurie, Hardie. How you doing?
Good, very good. And you?
Wow, I am full of gratitude. So good to have you on the book show.
Thank you.
Wow. You're welcome to the podcast, the One Student, One Book, One Author Mantra, the Global Readers Circle, the ultimate podcast that is designed to help make a committed reader out of every global person, especially the students. On this unique session and episode, I have an opportunity and honor to have Otolari Adi on our guest seat. Laurie Hardie, thank you very much for honoring our Ivy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I love your mission. I love your mission.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. Well, so far you're a writer, you should have your readers in mind.
Definitely.
So I'd like you to start by telling our audience about you. Who is Otolari Hardie?
Well, let's see. I am a radio DJ in Seattle, in the USA, in the state of Washington. I have podcasts and I teach podcasts, but I wrote my book because I wanted to help other people. I was a single mom, just trying to make it on my own. And I recognized that I needed somebody to walk beside me, and I had a hard time finding that. And this was before Facebook. And so I thought if I could write a book and help somebody just a few years behind me, somebody just walking into being a single parent, then, maybe I would leave a legacy. And so my book is called Did Not See That Coming, Hope for the Single Parent. It's not really a parenting book. It's a coaching book, because what I wanted people to know is don't give up your dream. No matter what you're going through, no matter how daily life is, you can still do little things to follow your dream. And if you're a single parent and you're working and you've got to finish raising your kids, for me, I just had to, I wanted to be committed to raising my kids, working a job that I did love. I did a program which was called Big Brothers, Big Sisters. And so I felt like I was doing a job that made a difference, but I knew I wanted to get back into radio. And so I just did little things every day towards that goal, so that when they graduated, I would be able to easily step into the next thing that I wanted to do. And I wanted to pave the way for other women.
Wow. Laurie Hardie, that's a very huge mission, if you ask me.
Thank you. And I found a writing coach. I think I know that I'm an author. I'm not so much a writer. Like, I don't think like, oh, and I walked by the beautiful sea where the water was sparkling. I'm more like, I walked on the beach and I got where I was going. So I made sure I had a really good editor to make the book sing, because I had a message. And so I used a formula that really worked for me as a writer, and I made sure to have a really good editor, and I made sure that for my cover art and everything that I had a professional. And then I went under, it's called Aviva Publishing, and they published me, and I'm in the Library of Congress. And so that was a really great way for me to go. And I am such an avid reader. I love reading. I'd rather read any day than watch TV. And when I was a little girl, we had what was called a bookmobile, because we didn't have a library nearby. I lived on an island. And so this bookmobile would come every 2 weeks, and the person driving it would give us great recommendations. And so all my growing up years we, especially in the summer, I don't know if they came in the winter, but we always had our summer reading, and we would just get as many books as they would let us and then try to read them all before they came back the next week.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Wow. It seems you had a very beautiful moment growing up. It seems you were always around book lovers, and it seems your community supports reading. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I like to ask you, for your audience globally, and for the next person, a young person out there who will be streaming this, what would you think your life would have looked like? How would you imagine your life if you were not a committed reader?
Oh, I can't even imagine that, because there were some things as a child that I went through that were very difficult. And this was in a day when we didn't have internet, and TV was pretty, there was maybe just a couple stations we could get on an island. And so it was my escape. It was a way for me to get away from things I was having to deal with, but also it helped me know that there was more. There was more that I could do. I wanted to be a DJ, but I didn't know that women could be DJs. And yeah. And it wasn't until I heard a woman DJ when I was probably a teenager. It was when FM radio came in, and all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, I could do that. And I believe that reading opened the door, because I read the Bible every day. I read a lot of self-help books, like How to Win Friends and Influence People. So I learned a lot about mindset. And so when I realized that a woman could be a DJ, I can't remember the book, but I remember one book that said, if there's something that you want to be, get a picture and cut it out and put it on your refrigerator. Well, there weren't women DJs, so I couldn't find really a picture of a woman DJ, but I found a picture of a woman singer holding a microphone. And I put that in front of me every day. And then I decided somehow, some way, I was going to be a DJ. And, that was the influence of a book that gave me that idea to keep pursuing my dream once I realized, hey, that's a possibility.
Wow. You were young, ready, and hungry, as you aptly put it. Wow, amazing, awesome. So let's talk about your journey into authorhood. Is this your only publications? Your message to single mothers? Are we expecting your next curve anytime soon? Where you headed?
I have people that are asking me to write another book, and I may. But when I wrote this one, I had the singular mission of a one-time book, because I wanted to get the message out. And because I work in radio, I really have loved the medium of podcasting. And so here's what's so brilliant is I teach podcasting. And what I tell people is, if you are really consistent and every week you drop an episode, at the end of a year, you're going to have 52 episodes. Guess what? You can transcribe those and turn them into a book.
Wow. Amazing. How is that possible? I like to ask.
How is that possible?
Yeah.
So what I teach my students is, you take your episodes and you transcribe them, and you can do that on Google Transcribe, or there's other platforms that will transcribe your whole podcast. And then if you are a writer, you can go back in and you can just look at it, and you can make it, however you want to, enhance it. Or if, for me, I would probably get an editor, and I would have all the transcriptions. I would put them, organize them according to this awesome formula I have. And then I would ask them to make them sing or, correct any. And the other reason you want an editor is because it's easy to use a phrase that's actually trademarked, and an editor will recognize that, so you do not get sued. So I always recommend that you have an editor, but then you just take your cover art from your podcast and you turn it into a book. And it's so easy to do. And so I am just a big advocate. Plus, if you write a book, you are going to want it on Audible. So you're going to want to have to record it anyway. So that's why I teach both, because you're going to do one first or the other first. And either way, you're reusing your content and you're putting it out. And when I was raising my kids, there was a woman in my church who was blind, and I always helped her get books on tape. I actually taught her how to run the soundboard at church, even as a blind woman. And I always thought, and this was before podcasting, and I always thought, this is such a great thing for people who are blind to be able to read if they can get it on Audible and audio. And this was before Audible. So now we have these amazing platforms. So I feel like written word and audio, doing both of them is covering a big